Anybody ever get your Magpul UBR taken apart, and you got all these pieces laying here, and you go to put it back together and you can't figure out how to put it back together or how to get it to go back onto the buffer tube, or you just got it all apart? And if anyone's wondering, well, why would you take it apart? Well, as you can see here, this one's been CeraKoted, and this is CeraKoted as well. A lot of people like to CeraKote things now. It's kind of the thing that's in. And so maybe say you've done that, and maybe you DuraCoated it, because CeraKote takes the oven. So a lot of people use DuraCote, KG gun coat, whatever, Krylon. You cleaned it, whatever it was. We're going to show you how to get this back together. Alright, move the camera out of the way there. And we'll take a little caddy here, get all our hardware in it. Okay, so now we've got our two halves. You'll notice right here, almost in the middle of each half, you see the two. You want this one here where my thumb is, in my left hand. See this triangular looking embossment? That's the one you want. Notice this one doesn't have it. So that is the left hand side. That's the one you want. Now, what you'll do is get out your latch, your lock, handle, your removal and preset lever. You want your buffer. Spring and detent for your preset removal lever, and your main spring. That's what you're going to need to put in here. Now, in the meantime, if you want to go ahead and do this just to get it out of the way, this piece here goes in here. And you may have to flip it around a little bit, but if you hold it right in the middle, you'll look and see this side sticks out farther than that side. Well, so does this. So I like to go ahead and notch that in. And if you notice, this has not been painted to match. This is the titanium color. This is left to Magpul Flat Dark Earth, which is what color this was to begin with. This piece doesn't get seen at all, and so I didn't bother with painting it and baking it and all that. You can go ahead and fit that in. If you want to get this piece fit in, you can. And of course there are options on this piece. Magpul has a few different ones of these you can get. You can go ahead and put that in, but it may come out while you're working, so we'll set it off to the side. Now, what we're going to do, you see this long roll pin right here. Let me zoom in just a little bit. We'll see if we can make it easier for you guys to see. Long roll pin. That long spring will go over it. That hole there is where that's going to fit into. Okay. That notch, sorry about that, my hat hit it. That notch is going to slide right over that. So when it's in there and together, it'll fit like that. You've got this buffer here, and it is going to go in there like that. That's the bottom view. See this thin piece? It goes right in there. Put that in, You might have to angle this up some. You're going to push forward and everything will fit right in there. You got your buffer, your lock, your latch, spring, everything's in there. Now, the reason that we chose this half to work on is because you need that embossment to hold this spring and everything in. So, see this little funnel looking area? That is what's going to receive your detent there. It goes down. Fit that right there. Fit your detents, just slide it right in underneath there. And doesn't matter where that is, up or down, just let it lie. And take this. You want to have some eye protection on probably for this because you're working with springs and everything. If that flew out, it could put your eye out. That's why I've got eye protection on, not. So anyways, now your assembly is together there. Now we know that this UBR came with doors. I'm opting to leave the doors out. In order to do that, I had to shorten a couple of the screws. You've got 4 screws that normally would have gone on here, and they actually thread into this piece here. It goes right down there, and you got 2 there, and then on the other side you got 2 there, and whenever those screw in, they hold your lid on, and 2 of them go into this side, and the other 2 go into that side, and they hold the bottom half together. So with these missing from both sides, that little bit of length there was just enough that I had to shorten. At least, you don't have to shorten all 4 of them, but you need to at least shorten 2 of them. That way, one side or alternating sides can be a little bit shorter, and that way they'll fit together. Because as it was, they were too long and the screws were touching each other. So it doesn't matter if you put your 2 short ones on the same side or stagger them, whatever you do, it doesn't matter. So, got that in, got your assembly there. Now what we'll do is you just want to guide that latch into here. You might have to move it back just a hair. And you can see here we're starting to get a little bit of crookedness there. Aha. The problem is this latch has come out of this hole over there. So now, put all our pieces in. Figure out what's holding us. Well, something's got us held here, and we're going to find out what. Why it's not wanting to fit. Well, just making sure that I hadn't told you guys wrong. We'll go in reverse order here. Make sure that we're straight. V down. Get that notched in there. There we go. Sometimes you just have to pull something apart and put it back together again, and it works. There. Now, what we'll do, we'll take our 2 short ones. I'm going to stagger them. I'm going to put a short one and a long one. Short one on top. So you have to keep track of that. If you put your short one on top on this side, you need to put your short one on bottom on the other side. Now, I'm not tightening these all the way. I'm just snugging them up. Say it 10 times fast. Snugging them up, snugging them up, snugging them up. Alright, I quit. Short one on the bottom. UBR. It's like, I feel like I should have UB40 playing or something because it's a UBR. That didn't work, did it? Oh well, I digress. Crack is good in Tennessee, guys. Crack is good. Alright, now I'm going to tighten these on up. There we go. We can hit them again later. So, if there's any question as to what length screw you should use, just turn it over and hold your screw up there and see. That, you can tell that is the right length screw. Put it through. You don't even have to have a wrench on there because the wrench is formed into the polymer. Snug it up. I'm not going to worry about my QD points or anything like that right now. We'll get to that later. See, something's holding us off right there, so I'm going to take my rubber mallet and give it a pop. It's still a little bit off there. We'll worry about soaking that up here a little bit later on. And now we'll finish up the rest of it. This is the supplied Magpul buffer tube. And you've got your piece that goes over there. Get our lock on there. Real quick, I may have jumped in and put this in wherever you're viewing this at. This is the Seekins billet lower, and normally on a normal lower you have over here on this side you've got a spring and a detent and everything that goes in that you have to worry about for your takedown pins. The Seekins lower does not have that same setup. It is a little different. So whenever you guys see going forward here, or if you just saw me put this all together without addressing that, it's because this is a Seekins lower. If you've got a normal forged mil-spec lower, then just know you need to address your detent in your spring that's going to be held in place by this plate for your rear takedown pin. If you need to know how to do that, there are all kinds of videos out there on ReAssembly, and if you still don't understand, then email me and pay me to put your rifle together for you or somebody else, because you need to do that at that point. Now, back on with the rest of it or something. This is our supplied Magpul buffer tube. Get your lock. Okay. There's your hardware. Already has some blue Loctite, little patch of it built in there. This is a regular screwdriver. I'm not using a specialized gunsmith screwdriver right now. I'm going to when I tighten it here. That's because the walls of this are flat instead of tapered. And they're a lot more resistant to slipping out and marring things. There we go. Now we're on. Now you've got these channels here and channels there. Take it, and it's going to go up to your latches there, to your lock. You're going to press it all the way in, and it'll let you slide past it. You're going to press the right hand side, which is the remove button, and it's going to go forward to there. Now you're going to press this all the way and press the preset button, and it's going to let you slide all the way past the final lock. Once you're there, you have different ways you can put it. Set your preset. Very, very solid system. Now, put that all the way back. And then get your last piece here, get your cheek riser on. Slide it back and forth until you get it lined up with your screw holes. And this is where your small hardware comes into play. I recommend, they've got blue Loctite on there. I recommend using red Loctite because these are so small, they'll be easy. Come loose. Red Loctite is where it's at. And I'll tell you where it's not. There we go. I was going to say the Allen screw that I need is not here. Allen screw, good Lord. The Allen key. There we go, back to that again. Allen keys. Anybody met Allen keys before? I think I met them a time or two. So this has been just a little bit of an example on this. It would be feasible to expect that somebody could reverse engineer this video here and figure out how to disassemble your Magpul UBR stock. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. But I just wanted to shoot the video of it as I put it back together, and it seemed like it just seemed like something that maybe some guys could have gotten this apart and had a few issues getting it back together. And I'll be honest with you, the rubber little buffer in there, that spacer that I showed you in the whole switch mechanism, that was my missing link earlier. I could not for the life of me figure out why the latch wasn't working properly as I went to go reassemble it. And it was because that spacer wasn't there. Well, that spacer had gotten set off to the side instead of put in with the stock stuff. And that's why I didn't realize that it went in there. So it took me about an extra 10 minutes thinking about it, looking at it. So that's when I decided to go ahead and do the video. And so there we go. And it also gives you another option, leaving out your panels. That's how it would look. And leave it out, and it kind of has that skeletal look. And we'll go ahead and throw on our rubber butt pad. And we'll thread our screws in. And this is going to conclude this video. What I do want to show you, you all see this upper here. This is going to be the next rifle to add to the collection. This is going to be a 300 blackout suppressed. It's on the Seekins lower. And just finished building this up. Actually, you're seeing me finishing building it. So stay tuned for that.